Good morning, folks. Today, I want to talk about potatoes. Um, when you get potatoes that look like this, they've got all these little eyelets coming off. If you uh, slice the potatoes so that each one of these eyelets have got about a quarter inch to an inch of meat behind it, let them sit for 24 hours to harden off and plant them, you'll have potatoes. Now, I recommend that when you buy your potatoes, that you look for the organic potatoes. Or if you don't want to do that, you can do what I've done this year. You can buy seed potatoes, okay? And seed potatoes, you want to look for non-GMO, U.S. grown, and organic, right? And you'll find that out. There's like a little symbol on there that you can take a picture of, and it'll tell you where they come from, who grew them, etc., etc. When you plant your potatoes, when you plant them, and yes, my table's a mess, okay? When you plant your potatoes, you want to plant them about 2 to 6 inches deep. And then, hey! And then as they're arguing over a bone. They're arguing over that bone right there. So you want to plant them 2 to 6 inches deep. As soon as you start to see a good 2 to 3 inches of green above the ground, which it happens very quickly, you want to add 2 to 3 inches of dirt on top. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to go through the process of cutting this and hardening it off, and you can just take this whole potato and plant it about 6 to 8 inches deep and leave it be. And if you leave some of the eyelets pointing down, those roots will grow down and you'll have potatoes all the way down the plant. That's normally what I do because I have potato barrels and I don't want to empty out my potato barrels in order to start new potatoes. You can do this. This is just regular store potatoes. Same with this. I just always make sure that I get organic and I get non-GMO potatoes. And the reason you want to get organic and non-GMO potatoes is if you don't take all the potatoes out of your potato barrel the next year and you let the potatoes go to seed before you harvest, the next year you'll get 1 or 2 free plants in your barrel. You just got to be careful when you harvest your potatoes that you don't severely disturb the soil, right? And when potatoes go to seed, they leave little tiny potatoes. Any potatoes that are little tiny potatoes, I just leave in my potato barrel. And I have found that by doing that, I get another year to 2 years before I have to reseed the beds. This year I have to reseed my beds. Okay? I got last year, out of the 8 potato barrels that I've got, I got 85 gallons of potatoes. And I eat a lot of potatoes. I cook potatoes with turnips and cabbage for the chickens in the winter. So we go through a lot of potatoes here. I like French fries, potato soup. I eat a lot of potatoes. So 85 gallons of potatoes. This is how you make a sustainable bed. Is you let some of the good plants, the good healthy plants, go to seed. Now, you can collect the little seeds off the flowers when they show up and use those to replant, or you can do like I do and just leave some of the, a good example. I leave some of these. This is garlic seed. I leave some of these in my beds. And every year I have garlic come up. Now garlic is probably one of the easiest plants to grow out there. As long as it's got soil and it's well drained, you're going to get garlic. It's not real particular on nitrogen or potassium levels in the soil. It would just grow. Okay. I thought I'd give you these little tips because they've worked for me in the past, right? Puppy with the big bone. He's done stole his busy bone this morning, and they had it out about that, and now he went and tried to steal his big bone, and they just had it out about that. That's what y'all were hearing. Just, whew. See, that's his bone there. So yeah, just some tips on just growing potatoes. Okay, potatoes. You want to keep an eye on your potato plants because, especially here in the South, we have what they call potato beetles. And so when you harvest your potatoes, you want to check the soil to make sure there's like no grubs in there. Now earthworms are great, but be aware. Be aware if you have earthworms in your potato barrels, you might lose a few potatoes to the worms. Okay. And one cool trick that I do, and this is why I've got cardboard here. One cool trick that I do is I take cardboard and I lay it on top of the bed. Then once I harvest my potatoes, I turn that cardboard into the soil. This gives the worms in the potato barrels something to eat. Okay, you can do this also in your regular raised beds, right? And the added benefit of it is the cardboard helps keep the weeds down. So you lay a big piece of cardboard, cut a hole in it, put your seed in, right? And it helps keep the weeds down so that your seedling can grow. Now, I would recommend, if you are in an area like I am, where there's a lot of blackbirds and crows and just birds in general, I would recommend that you use a little cup. Let me show you what that looks like. It's just a little cup, right? And you put this over top of the seedling, right, when you plant your seed until it starts to come out of the soil. Now, when you do this, especially in the South, you need to keep an eye on watering, because when you put that over top of your seed, it basically becomes a miniature greenhouse. And yeah, that's some of the tips I have for you this morning. And they are at it already. Definitely at it already. Oh, he's a trip. He's a trip. And so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Obviously, I've got to go to the dump. I got the truck I got to take in to get the oil changed today. No, I don't change my own oil. I don't have time to change my own oil. I don't have the equipment here. I have a sloped driveway, so I don't do that. But yeah, they are full of energy this morning. Absolutely full of energy this morning. So, another thing I do is if I don't want to plant them directly in the beds, I also just use a little solo cup. And these are getting dry, so I'm gonna have to put some a tray under them, put some water in them. Plant the seed in the solo cup, and then once it comes up and gets a good 2 to 3 inches tall, or big enough, you'll know, where you start to see that, okay, it needs to go in the ground. I do that too. It's just, it's a constant thing, folks. It's a constant thing, right? I do know that somebody was asking me about the citrus trees and what I give them. Okay? I give them this. It's from Stark Brothers. It's tree prep fertilizer. It's got 22, 24, and 12 tree and plant food. You can use this on your garden. You can use this on your citrus trees. I use them on my citrus trees. So I fertilize my citrus trees twice a year, right? And you can look that up off of Stark Brothers. And I highly recommend that if you have fruit trees. I highly recommend it because it's real easy to do. You just mix that in with a half a gallon of water, and you just pour that on your tree. And I do that in early spring, and I do that in fall, so that they have good fertilizer to get them through the winter, and when they're coming back from the winter, they got good fertilizer to start up. And proof is in the pudding, folks. So, this is my elderberry tree. This is my blueberry tree. Stay down. You see all the blueberries? Proof is in the pudding, folks. You see my peach tree? Right? Do a little bit. You see, you see my fruit? That's my blackberry and raspberry. And I got one blueberry coming up through there. I didn't even put it there. So these are my blueberry trees. And as you see, they're starting to really come up with the blueberries. And for those who are interested, I also do use it on my kale. And that's kale. And it's looking very happy and healthy. And I got to get in here and weed the beds again. It's just something that you do, that you learn little by little, right? Now, for those who ask about the blueberries, yes, you have to have a low bush blueberry. Okay, that's a low bush blueberry right there. And I know it's got a lot of weeds around it, but that's a low bush blueberry right there. And I've got one right there, and I've got 3 high bush. So you have to have high bush and low bush in order to get blueberries. Now, the ones that are over there, I normally leave for the birds. And the birds strip them bare, right? Yeah, that's what I've got for you this morning. I hope my tips help you a little bit with figuring out what you want to do. What I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do it today, is along this fence here, I'm going to plant some sunflowers. And along that back fence, I'm going to plant a couple sunflowers. Now, you can do what you want. I've got a couple onions that are trying to grow, and they're going to go in the onion bed. I'm going to plant a couple more kale here and a couple tomato plants over here in these, because I had kale in these last year. So these two that are here had kale last year, so this year I'm going to plant tomatoes. Cucumbers are going to go in the back couple beds, and I'm still debating this, I might plant a watermelon plant this year. I'm debating it because it takes a lot of water, and it'll have to just go in the regular ground, so I'm debating that. So my basil is not coming up. I've got to replant my basil bed, and my carrot bed, I haven't seen anything out of the carrot bed, so I don't know what I'm going to plant there this year. I might just plant some flowers there, right? I do keep flowers, just regular flowers, around the homestead. This is to keep the bees fed, and there are bees around here. There's a lot of bees around here. And this little tray that he's looking up, I normally keep water in that specifically for the bees, because they come to the blueberry trees and they come to the elderberry plant and everything else, and they pollinate for me, so I keep them watered in the summertime. And yeah, it's learning your land, right? Learn what you have. Be aware that what pests there are in your area, and we're gonna get to it and get to the things. I gotta get the pups fed and get my boots on, because I'm in my bare feet right now. Get my boots on and get to work. Hey, no digging a hole. And he's like a 2-year-old, I'm telling you. You're just like a 2-year-old. Just like a 2-year-old. I swear. Bicycle. I give you some puppy playtime. Oh, good Lord, they do this all day long. Yeah, you gonna be all right? Okay. All right, bicycle.